Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video, guys. This is the new week and we are trying to be consistent. So karibuni sana.
If you're new here, subscribe, like, and share.
Yay! Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching my content. Please continue watching. Please continue subscribing. Please continue sharing. Guys, we are going far. Thank you so much. I am humbled. So as you can see, I'm with my whole family. This girl here ametoka shule. This one is pale, yeah, and this one is Ayla. By the way, there's someone who commented and asked me how I know the difference. They are very different, by the way. So, guys, today I'm talking about my twin pregnancy journey and their delivery at 34 weeks. Yes, guys, that is what we are talking about today. About what God did for us, because God saved my babies, yo. God saved my babies. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. And because of these two, I don't know, I'll put them somewhere there so that it can be a smooth video. Okay? So, karibuni sana.
Bye.
So, guys, so welcome to this video. So guys, my pregnancy journey, my twin pregnancy journey. I found out I was pregnant in May 2021. So yeah, I found out I was pregnant in May 2021. And by the way, I had tried a month prior, but I did not get pregnant. So in May, I tested and it turned out positive, and I was so happy because I really wanted a child at that point. So yeah, so I found out I was pregnant due to symptoms. Though I did not have many symptoms, I just missed my periods, and that was it. I didn't have any like symptoms, no. So after I found out I was pregnant, I was so happy. I started preparing myself mentally because yeah, it was a new journey. It was a new journey. And prior to my previous pregnancies, I always have a hectic first trimester. But let me tell you guys, my twins pregnancy was my easiest pregnancy. Okay, apart from the end, the third trimester, where I was obviously very tired, it was my easiest pregnancy. So let's start with the first trimester. My first trimester was smooth. It was smooth. Hey, I did not vomit. I did not have any nausea. I did not have any nausea. I did not. Just a minute. So yes, guys, my first trimester was quite smooth. I did not have any nausea. I did not vomit. I did not have any pregnancy symptoms. And because when I was pregnant with Tamara, I was sickly. My first trimester was tough. Even my other pregnancy from a baby who passed away, story for another day. I also had a tough first trimester. So with this one, it was, I did not have any nausea, I did not have a rough first trimester. So my first trimester was smooth. I was working. The only thing I think I did a lot in my first trimester was eat smokies. This is smoky pasua. Nakumbuka nilikuwa naenda job. Then after I get to work, I had to do some deliveries. Now when I'm coming from delivery, nilikuwa napitia place ingine hapo inauzwa, and yeah, like on a daily. So for cravings, I think that's the only thing that I did different from my first trimester. So there's nothing much to tell, by the way, about my first trimester. It was quite easy. It was quite smooth. Very smooth. Going onwards to my second trimester. My second trimester now. This is where I started feeling the pregnancy symptoms. This is where I felt the pregnancy symptoms. But still, it was not tough. I still cannot compare it to any other pregnancy. It was easy. But at this point, I started feeling nauseatic with some foods. I started feeling, I never vomited by the way, but I started feeling some nausea, but not all the time, and not in the morning, not, but with certain food, with certain smells, but very minimal foods. At this point, it was still smooth, by the way. It was still smooth. Just a few foods used to make me feel some nausea. But apart from that, nothing. Did I have any cravings at this point? I think the smokies, samosas. Did I have? I didn't have any cravings still at this point. At this point, second trimester, I also did not have any. It was quite smooth, very smooth, by the way. I still did not have any symptoms, cravings. I just used to crave salty. By the way, I used to crave salty. Second trimester, and first trimester, I used to crave salty, like savory food. In fact, I thought I was carrying a boy, because this pregnancy was very different from what I have carried from my other pregnancy. So, at this point, I'm even convinced I am having a boy because I'm craving salty stuff. I didn't have morning sickness. I don't vomit. So at this point, I'm just, you know what? Maybe this time it's different. It's a different gender. And by the all this time, I don't know if I'm having twins. I still don't know if I'm having twins. So my pregnancy was quite normal. There was nothing off at it to indicate that I'm having twins or anything. No, it was quite normal, quite smooth. So yeah, so the second trimester, that was just it. But from the second trimester, I started feeling the nausea. Apart from that, I was just craving the smokies, the samosas, and the boiled eggs. Those ones, za barabara huko, those ones that are sold on the streets, because of the kachumbari, the chili, the salt. That's all I wanted, by the way. And at this point, I also was craving yogurt, vanilla to be specific. That is the only different thing. So my second trimester also went well. I was able to work without any problems, I didn't have any difficulties, by the way, and I thank God. I really thank God, because we should not take it for granted. So we come to the end of my second trimester, which is the end of my 6th month. We come to the end of it, and at this point now, I wanted to do a scan when I was 5 months. No, around four and a half to 5. I wanted to do a scan, but there's a doctor we always go to, who has a nearby clinic, and told me, if you do the scan too early, you might not know the gender. And fortunately and unfortunately, most of us do a scan if you don't have any complications. We only do a scan to just know the gender. As much as they will check on the baby, mostly it's to know the gender. So the doctor was like, if you do it too early, they might miss the gender. Just wait a little bit, so that when you do it, they'll be sure of the gender. So I decided to wait. So I waited until I was 6 months. 6 months to the end of the 6 months, when I'm getting into my 7th month. This is now when I am doing my scan. Hey, have you ever been shocked? Yeah? Shock of my life. So I was at work. I meet up with your dad. We go to the clinic, and we just register as normal. We want to know the gender. We wanted different. Okay, at first he wanted a boy. I also wanted a boy. Then he changed and wanted a girl. Later on, I also changed and wanted a girl, even before doing the scan. But the reason why I wanted a boy, because we had agreed, if I have a boy, I will name it after my dad. But if it's a girl, we will name it after his mom. So at this point, with the way my pregnancy is taking me, the way it is not hard, the way things are going, I'm so convinced I'm having my dad. Shock. Because for me, twins, you just hear twins from other families. You just hear twins from, it's nothing like that common in our family, not common in his family. Though I came to learn that twin genes are carried by the mom. So it is nothing common. It is nothing like you know, just the way in life you see people having twins and you're like, oh my god, I'd like that. Like kimoyo moyo too, you know. So we go in, we register. At this point, we even have a bet whether it's a boy or a girl. At this point, by the way, we have already shopped. We had already gone to Gikomba and done the shopping, and most of the things that we picked were boy stuff. Yes, t-shirts, trousers. Most of the things that we picked were boys stuff. But luckily, we had not bought the new stuff. We had not gone to Kamukunji. We had just gone to Gikomba and just thrifted some baby clothes. So we register, we are in line, we wait, and it is our turn. Go in, and the doctor starts scanning. So he scans and scans and scans, and he's not talking, he's not telling us, he's not saying, what are we having? So he's just, rolling that thing on my tummy. He applies more gel, rolls. Then he brings it to my lower belly. Ana roll. Tena anakuja juu. And then we are like, hey, what's happening? I even ask, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, everything is okay. Just give me a minute. So he does this thing. You know what they do? They apply the gel, then start rolling that thing for scanning. So we're just quiet. Then after some time, he speaks and he's like, these are 2 babies. What? I wish you saw our reactions, because we were like, what? What do you mean? It's like, yeah, I'm seeing 2 babies. At this point, we're shocked. Nobody's speaking to the other, because that is, my babies are a miracle. Like, just God just decided to give me twins, because we don't have any twin history. Okay, I have cousins who are twins, but that's just it. It's not when asking your grandmother's, as in there's nothing close. It's not close, like, So at this point we were quiet. We were like, but I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, let me show you. So he does his thing. He scrolls, and then he shows me, look, here is one head. Then he continues and shows me, comes to my the lower part, and shows me this is another head. Then tries to show me the body parts, and oh my god, I'm like, twins from anyway, they are from God. So he from this point he starts showing us the parts, the different body parts from both babies. Though my twin A, who is at the lower part, was alikuwa amefinyiliwa, like she was not showing very well. Like she had a small area, so she had curled, like alikuwa amejikunja. But twin B had a lot of space, so she's the one who we saw a lot of features, a lot of things. Like she's the one who was more visible, if I can say that. So he starts showing us, he starts explaining, and now after we have confirmed, like, yeah, they're 2 babies, he now starts to check the details, because we need to know, are they identical, are they in the same sac, are they sharing what it is called are they sharing a placenta, because this is what defines and determines whether they're identical or not. So he does his thing, and he says yes, they are sharing a placenta, that means they are identical. And then he now starts to check, and he's like, yeah, they are sharing a placenta, and they're already only divided by they're in different sacs, but they're sharing a placenta. And then the sac was very thin, which was a point of concern by the way. So he was like, everything is okay, but you need to change your clinic to a special clinic, a special There's a special clinic. Like when you are having twins, you should have a special clinic, because then they constantly need to check if the babies are okay, if they are positioned okay, if they are all like feeding well, if they are growing well. Like he was like, now you need to change your clinic to a special clinic. We're like, oh, okay. And I immediately changed, because I was going to a nearby clinic, and now from this point, now I started going to the hospital where I gave birth in. So yeah, so from the doctor's clinic, we were shocked. We realized we need to go back for shopping. This shopping that we had not done, we realized it's a double. We need to buy 2 things for each kama ni towels, baby blankets. Now we realize we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. So yeah, that was the end of my 2nd trimester, getting to my 3rd trimester. In fact, it was the 1st month of my 3rd trimester. That's when I found out I was having twins. And by the after telling people we're having twins, people are like, "Kwani huku unasikia? You are not feeling Guys, I did not feel anything different. Even after the scan, I did not feel anything different. Like it was not any different from a singleton twin, a singleton pregnancy. Even after the scan, even the way they used to play, they were not so vigorous. I think it's because of space. But even after the scan, it was they were just playing kawaida. Even if I had not done a scan, even at the 3rd trimester, I would not have known they were twins. I wouldn't have known by them. So guys, so that's it. So from this point, I've known I'm carrying twins. Like I'm saying, I did not feel anything different. Even after I knew they were twins, I still did not feel anything different. Even the way they used to play, the way you could just think it was one baby, because even when you're carrying one baby, at times they play from this point, at times they're playing from this point, at times they're playing from this point. So it was not different. So my 3rd trimester, how was my 3rd trimester? My 3rd trimester was quite rocky. It was quite tough, but at the end. But now from 7 months, I only had, at this point now, my nausea, now it has come up. I could only eat food that I had cooked. I could only eat food that I had cooked by myself. I did not want greasy food. I did not want, oh my god, all this. I just started being choosy. I was not able to eat a lot. Then yogurt became like a daily thing. And now at this point, I am craving sugar. All I want is sugary stuff. I used to take Fanta orange. I took a lot of Fanta orange on my 3rd trimester. Cold Fanta orange. I really used to feel so good. Now at this point, I just wanted sugar. Fanta orange, yogurt, food stuff. I only wanted food that I had cooked by myself. Like I didn't want. I was very choosy at this point. So that's just it. For symptoms, I became very nauseatic from other people's foods. And then what else that trimester? I just became nauseatic. I started choosing foods, and then I wanted sugary stuff, mostly soda, Fanta. Yeah, that was it. And then towards the end, I started vomiting. Like I used to heartburn. How am I forgetting heartburn? Heartburn from the 1st trimester. By the way, that is the only thing that I had to deal with my entire pregnancy. Heartburn. Now at the 3rd trimester, it was too much to a point of I was having heartburn until I vomited. Like ilikuwa inanichoma hadi natapika. Now that was the worst thing I experienced, by the way, heartburn. And then now the last weeks I was vomiting because of the heartburn. Ilikuwa inanichoma sana until I just had to vomit. And that was just it. That was my worst. Heartburn, that was my worst. And by there, at the scan, we also told they are girls, obviously. So yeah, so at this point we go back for shopping. For the thrift clothes, I didn't go back to Gikomba. I went to Githurai and I got some very cute baby girl items. For Kamkunji, we went together and we got everything we needed. 2 of everything now at this point. 2 towels, to what. And it was quite interesting to shop. I was still not so tired. But now the last month, I was tired. When I walk, the pressure was too much. Like I used to hold my belly like this, like just to lift it up so that I don't feel the pressure. And then Pelia, because she's the one who was low, when Pelia played, I used to feel like she's coming out. Like I used to feel it at my vag. Like she used to play and I was like, oh my god, that's a leg. It's almost in my vag. It's almost coming out, as in, oh my god. And I used to say, oh my god, I feel like the moment Pelia plays, I feel like my water is going to break. I used to say that every time. So guys, hey, my EDD was 30th January. In fact, I used to use 2 apps. One app was saying 30th January and the other app was saying 5th February. But guess when my babies came? Guess when my babies came? December 24th. Another shock. Another on the 24th of December. Guys, we were busy planning Christmas with my sisters, with my family. We were planning, oh, who is going to the market, who is going to do what. And luckily, by the way, I worked up to November. I was to work even December, because you see, I'm supposed to deliver end of January. You see? So I'm like, I have a whole of January to stay home. So I was like, I will work even December. But towards the end of November, I was so tired and I decided, no, you know what, I won't do this. Let me just rest, because my belly was really sitting on my pelvic. So I was like, no, let me just rest for December and January. Like, I thank God I did that, because even the day prior to my water breaking, I did not have any symptoms of delivery or anything. So on the 24th of December, I was 34 weeks. I just turned 34 weeks. Through that week, we're just planning Christmas. Hey, little did I know that on Christmas Day, I will be in the hospital, babe. That on Christmas Day, I'll be holding my baby. Okay, I was not holding them. They were in the incubator. But I had already had my babies. So what happens? On the 24th, in fact, I remember that day. On the 23rd now at night, Tamara was like, oh, mom, I want to sleep with you in my bed, because we used to sleep in different beds. So I told her, okay, you come. And we slept together. So because of sleeping together, I felt like I was not comfortable. I was not as free as I usually was sleeping normally the other days. So, hey, in the morning, and then you see how when you're pregnant, I don't know if it's everybody who's pregnant, usually gets tired by sleeping one side. Yani unasikia kama hadi unaanza kumwa na huku kwa hips, unafinya kama umefinywa. So when I woke up in the morning, I was so pressed and I was like, let me turn to the other side. Ise dia miguu. At least uko kutakuwa comfortable kidogo, niondoke hapa penye nimelala. So I turned. At this point I'm pressed, but I don't want to go to the loo because it will spoil my sleep. So I just turned and was like, let me see for how long I can hold it. Let me see for how long I will sleep. So I turned to the other side to be a little more comfortable. Let me tell you, it did even 5 minutes as if Misha. I just had a splash. The water just broke. It gushed out like, when I tell you I was wet from here downwards, and I was so wet. And at this point, because I was pressed prior to me turning, I was like, or I just peed on myself. Then I was like, but when I stood up, now the water continued coming out. It was just gushing like, hey, the water was, you imagine I'm mingi hivyo, like it just came out, a lot of it. Like I was wet from here downwards. Then when I stood, it was still coming out, and it is at this point. And then I saw they seemed like some membranes or something, and I was like, oof, nope, there is no pain. This is my water just broke. First of all, we are 34 weeks. We are not even fully, like I did not go full term. At this point, I'm so scared. From this point now to the point where I've already done my C-section and I've seen my babies, I was holding my heart. Like from this point, I was just talking to my God, because like I said, I've lost a child before. And there's nothing bad like that. Me, I've experienced many things in this world, but there's no such pain. I wouldn't want to go through that ever again. So at this point, I'm so scared. Number one, there are two. Number two, I did. It's 34 weeks. Like, they were supposed to continue developing. Like, what happens? Are they okay? And you know, after the water like broke, I did not feel much movement. Like, from this point to hiyo time watu walizaliwa, I was on sijui niite airplane mode. I was not okay. So I called my sister-in-law and tell her, oh my god, my water just broke. And she came. I was like, what? Yeah, this is it. So immediately we start preparing to go to the hospital. So I needed to change. I needed to get my stuff. I needed to, like, we just started organizing. So at this point, I started requesting for a cab. And by then, everything that we had bought was with their dad. So I called him. We were still not living together. We lived together after the babies were born. I called him and I'm like, you know what? My water just broke. And he was like, you're joking. Because every time, like I said, whenever my twin A used to play, I used to feel like she's going to break the water. Like, I used to feel her, whatever she was kicking with, at my vag. So I was like, I used to say it every time. So he was like, I know you're joking. I know you're joking. I'm not joking. I am not joking. My water just broke. So immediately, I tell him, you know what? You just pack whatever you need to pack. And let's meet in the hospital. So he does that. I also request a cab. And let me tell you, the day you want a cab so fast is the day the cab drivers do you that thing. You request, I'm like, oh, request another one. Oh, it took time, but my brother akanishughulikia and I got a cab. All this time, by the way, I don't have any pains. I don't have any, just my water is coming. Now at this point, it's just coming out. Kidogo, I have a pad on and that's all. So finally we get a cab and we start going to the hospital. On our way, like, the moment we leave home, now we are going. Hey, now my contractions started. I started feeling them. I started feeling my contractions and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then now, the cab driver, when he hits something, whoo, the pain. So at this point, I'm like, just go slow because the pain that I am feeling. Yani, my pain came, and it was from 0 to, I won't say 100 because I didn't like labor ile kabisa, but I was feeling my pains, and it went like from 0 to 80 immediately. So I was like, oh my god, go slow. But by the time I was reaching the hospital, I had serious contractions. I was in pain. Like, but they were in intervals, obviously. So the moment my contractions started, I could not do anything. I was just holding my breath. I was just there. Then zinaacha kuniuma. I continue being normal. Then boom, contraction. So we went to the hospital. We registered. We need to check in. We were admitted. I was admitted. Like, at this point my contractions are so serious, like I'm so scared. And then from my first instance where I lost a child, the baby had pooped akanini. So at this point I'm so careful. I don't want to see any type of, I just want to see clear water coming out. So I kept going to the washroom just to check. Because when I was finally admitted and I got a bed, there were 2 people waiting. No, there was one person who was waiting to go to the theater, and she had come the previous night, so she was obviously the first to go because I did not have any danger signs. Though I really was not going to take my time. I even told them, you know what, I've lost a child before, so please, I'm not waiting, just take me. Even there was a nurse who was like, shoot, let us check the dilation. Okay, they checked and it's just 1 centimeter. And since Tamara's birth was a C-section, I was not going to wait anyway. Even the other one was a C-section. So here I am admitted. Now I have to wait for one person to go to the theater, then it is my turn. At this point, my belly is so small. Like, after the water just came out, my belly was so small. Because even the nurses were like, oh, have you done your scan? how many weeks were you? And I'm like, I was 34 weeks. 34 weeks, you are barely so. And then I tell them it's twins. They were like, are you sure? Are you sure? But then, guys, something I did not tell you. After we did that scan, I am adopting Thomas. Yani, even the entire pregnancy, the remaining of the entire, I did not believe I was having twins. I always wanted to do a repeat scan. And the time when we wanted to do a repeat scan, the doctor told me, if you do a scan right now, it's a waste of money, because in 2 weeks time you will be like 2 weeks to delivery, and we will request another scan to check how the babies are, to know how the C-section will be. So I did not do a confirmation scan. And I wanted to confirm. Hapa ni penye yenyewe I was doubting God. May he forgive me. So at this point, I am admitted, and I have to wait for one person to be taken to the theater, and then it's my turn. But when we're just there was an emergency, and obviously when there's an emergency, you're pushed behind. So we wait. At this point, I still don't have any danger signs, but my contractions, I labored for these babies. And let me tell you, there's a difference when you labor knowing you're going to push, and there's a difference when you labor and you know you're going to the theater. Like, why am I going through this pain? Why am I going through this agony? Why am I laboring anyway? So anyway, I waited. I managed my contractions. I was just holding my breath until ziache kuniuma. So finally, there's an emergency, akapelekwa. Then the other lady, actually, you see my water broke early, like between 6 to 7. What is it, baby? So but hii process yote kwenda hosi nini, by the time we're being admitted, it's like 10 a.m. But I waited for like 2 hours because I went to the theater for like at 12:30, between 12:30 to 1. I usually say my babies were born between 12:30 to 1. I don't have specific time, by the way. At twin A was this time, twin B was this time, because people keep asking what is the gap difference in minutes. I don't know, by the way. I don't know. That did not matter to me. I did not care about that. I just wanted healthy babies. I wanted to know if they were developed enough to survive. I wanted to know if, at this point, I want both of them alive. I want them to be developed to a point they can survive. I want them to be okay. Like, I did not care what time they were born. I did not care to ask what is the time difference in minutes. But I don't know. I don't know. All I know is they both were born between 12:30 to 12:50. And if it is the gap, maybe 10 minutes or less, because now I've got the theater, the doctors are preparing. And funny thing, the nurse who took me to the theater did not tell the doctors that I'm having twins. Luckily, the doctor asked, hey, had you done a scan before? No, yes, I had done. And the doctor had not checked the file, so she had not seen. Now they are preparing, and then she asked me, so had you done a scan before? Did you know it was a girl or a boy? And I'm like, they are girls. What do you mean? They're twins. Yeah. Oh my God, the nurse did not tell me. But now at this point, she checks the file. She's like, whoa, they are twins. So she asks for more equipment. They ask for, like, a twin delivery is a bit different. She asked for another nurse it was her and one nurse. Then she asked for another nurse, and also asked for another nurse who works in the NBU, because it's 34 weeks, they are 2. So they knew there's a way they had to prepare. So they immediately, I get this one, hiyo anesthesia hii ya kudungwa kwa spine, and immediately they start the C-section. All this time I'm just praying. All this time I'm just talking to God. By the way, in the theater, if you've done a C-section, they put the blindfold here, and then there's always someone to keep you talking, to keep you busy. And let me tell you, I even can't remember the conversation I had with this guy, because he was talking to me, he was asking questions. But at this point, all I want is to hear a baby cry. The first baby, the second baby. I can't even remember, but I was answering him, but I don't know what we were talking about, because I was praying. All I wanted was to hear my babies crying. All I wanted, this time was just between me and God. Because I was like, no, God, I can't handle it any other way. And guys, when I tell you, God saved my children, God saved my babies, I even feel like crying, because I was in that hospital for days. Luckily, imagine, and the things we saw, the things that happened in that nursery. At some point, me and the other moms were like, you know what, Aki, you need to discharge us, because at some point we felt like now we are going to get traumatized. Like, we're not, it's tough, guys. Moms lose their kids. Like, you see kids being brought in the nursery, unaona wamezungukwa na manases, wanashughulikiwa, the next minute everything is plugged out. As in, it was a lot, but I really thank God for my children. I really thank God that they survived. I really thank God that, you know. So anyway, so they take the first baby out. My babies did not cry. Yeah, no. Actually, the thing that made me know that the first baby was out, they were trying to hit her. You see how they hit the baby? And obviously I can't see because there's this blindfold. So I just hit him. And then she was like, And I was like, whew, at least she has cried. It was not a good cry, but it was a cry. And from this point, I'm just praying, I'm just talking to God, And also the thing that made me know that the first baby was out, it's because of the conversations they were having. And then now I had the nurse who were trying to hit her, trying to make her cry. She had a weak cry. Then from this point, now I could hear the doctors saying, this second twin, amejikunja, like she's amejikunja kabisa, like they were really trying to. So it took time for them to get her out. But eventually they did, and it was the same case as the first one, because I could feel them hitting her, and then there was it was still a weak cry, by the way. And at this point there are like random just weak cries, like mara moja tu unasikia, then mara moja tu, then inaacha, mara moja tu. So at this point I don't even know if they are both crying or what is happening. I am so scared to ask. And since they have not told me anything wrong, anything negative, I'm holding my heart, I'm trusting in God, I'm talking to God. Like, nakwambia nilikuwa airplane mode. Yani nilikuwa, I was in my own world. That was a tough day for me. It was really tough. Like, I could not imagine, I could not. But God did it. God kept my babies for me because they were not okay. So immediately after they're done getting the babies, wakajaribu kuwashughulikia. Then now there's a nurse who came and showed me, hey, this is twin one. She's a girl. She's 2 kgs. Guys, my babies were 2 kgs. You don't want to see how a 2 kgs. Okay, I know the babies born even less, but my babies were 2 kgs and they were so tiny. So she shows me, this is twin one. She's 2 kgs. She's a girl. Then goes back, brings baby number 2. She tells me this is twin 2. She's a girl. She's also 2 kgs. Then immediately they tell me they are going to take the babies to the nursery to assist in breathing. They needed to be put on oxygen. They needed to be assisted. Like, they were not doing well. Immediately they came out. So my babies are taken away. That is the, like, after seeing them that time, it took me hours to go see them again. So at this point, wakanimalizia, they cleaned me up. They, like, then, like, they just completed the procedure. Then I was taken to the ward. When I was taken to the ward, oh my God, you guys, I was shaking. I could not even talk properly. I don't know why, but I was told it's some meds they use to stop excessive bleeding. They make you, like, start shivering. I don't know what was happening. But apart from that, everything else with me was quite smooth at that point. So they take me to the ward. And then they keep on. Then after C-section, you are put on drip, like six of those 2 days, and then you cannot take anything. I was so thirsty, and also I kept telling them, I want water, and they were like, no, you cannot take water right now. You just wait. So guys, I stayed for 6 hours because I was coming from the theater at around 1 p.m. and at 10 p.m. it's not even 6 hours. At 10 p.m. is when now, all this time, I keep asking every nurse that was passing, how are my babies? Because I was not okay. I was not comfortable. I don't know Did they survive? Did they respond to the oxygen? Are they moving? At this point, even when the dad was there, I was like, please just go. And because he will not be allowed to enter the NBU. He was just peeping at the window. Though there's like a place they have prepared for people who come to see, I think, babies. You can just peep. And also my brother's wife, I was like, please go again, just go and check. And every time they used to go and check, they was like, yeah, we can see them moving their legs. And that's all they could see, by the way. And they were like, yeah, the babies are okay. As long as we can see them playing, they are moving their legs. That was quite a comfort to me. Because number one, I can't go where my babies are. I can't see them. I want to know if they're okay. I want to hold them. I want to... That was a tough day. But at around 10 p.m., finally a male nurse came, and he was like, and I was like, hey, can I go and see my babies now? And they were like, are you okay? Can you feel your legs now? Can you be able to stand? And I was like, yeah. And then of course there's excessive bleeding, sheets, Nini, they needed to change. I needed a new gown. And the moment I stood and changed, he was like, are you sure you're strong enough? You know you don't have to go right now. Your babies are well taken care of. But then every time I was asking, are my babies okay? They're like, yeah, they're in good hands. They're being taken care of. You just relax. So at this point, I'm like, I can walk. And the nurse was like, he called another nurse, a lady. And the lady was like, yeah, you know what? You can relax for another 1 hour, 2 hours. Then I was like, no, I am okay. I can walk. They're like, will you be able to go all the way to the nursery? I'm like, yes, I will be able to. I just asked her, is there a long distance in between? And she was like, no, see Mbali san. I was like, yeah, I will go. So I changed. Then I was like, she was like, okay, follow me. And you know, after C-section, you don't stand. Walking is a problem. You go bending like this. But let me tell you, for my babies, I was not even feeling those pains. And you know, after the theater meds were out of your body, you start feeling the pain. And even these pills they give you for painkillers, they don't work as that. So you constantly, here and there, you're feeling the pains. But I was so determined. You know what? I want to see my babies. And for the first time, at around 10 p.m., I walked just slowly. We went to the nursery. And I was explained how to, as long as your babies are in the nursery, there's a protocol you should follow. Sanitizing, you remove your shoes, you wear the slippers. So when I was taught the procedure, then, finally, I was taken to the incubator because there's a mom who had other twins. So I was taken to my twins, to the incubator. There were like other babies. Some were there for jaundice, so they were in that blue light. Others were in the incubators. So I go, finally I meet my babies, and oh my god, that was the best feeling ever. Because by the time I'm going to the nursery, number one, they were put in oxygen for 6 hours. And the nurses saw that my babies were doing well. So after 6 hours, they were like, let us try if they can manage on their own. And they removed in fact, if the photo that I'll put on my cover on this story, you'll see one baby does not have the oxygen tube. Even the one who has the tube, she's not on oxygen. They had already removed. They were just checking if the babies can manage on their own. And when they removed the tubes, they saw that the babies were managing well without the assistance. So they were off oxygen. They were on oxygen for 6 hours. My babies, they did so well. So by the time I'm going, they already off the oxygen thing. And they were doing so well. They were just throwing their legs, but they have so many things, tubes attached to their bodies. They were doing so well. And guys, by the time I'm going, they're doing well. And then I also learned, because I was like, they need to breastfeed. And the nurse was like, they are put on glucose tubes. I don't know. They are put on something that make them survive. Because at this point, I don't even have milk. So it was, from that point now, it was just me going back to the wards, to the NBU, it's tough. It's tough. You yourself, you can't even, you have pains, you can't walk, you have this wound. It's tough. But you have to do it. As a mom, you have to do it. You just have to push yourself. Because day one, I still didn't have milk. By the way, when I entered, they were like, we have just removed them from oxygen, so you can pick them from the incubator, sit down, hold them kidogo, then put them back. So I was able to do that. I was able to hold them, but one by one, obviously, because they are delicate, they are small. I also am not okay, but we did it, yo. I was so happy. So yeah, from that point it was just going to the nursery, back and forth, to the ward, to the nursery, to the ward, to the nursery. And those were, hey, in a day you can go like 20 times, because you have to do diaper changes, you have to do feedings, and then in the morning the doctor is going around. You need to be checked in the ward, and then the babies are being checked in the NBU, and you need to know what the doctor thinks. So from day one they're like, no, like you can't, they have to fulfill a certain standard for them to be released. Like they must be 2 kgs, no, 1.8 kgs and above. You must have like you must already be having milk for them to breastfeed. And also, I think there's some few things they check. And guys, let me tell you, the 2 days I did not have milk, my babies are in the incubator. I can't walk, I can't go to the nursery as much as to feed them. My babies dropped. They were born at 2 kgs, but I checked like a day before we were discharged and they were 1.7. Hey, luckily they were never, like they never checked their weight again. They were like, oh, these ones are 2 kgs. Otherwise I could have stayed in that hospital because everything else was okay apart from the weight. Now we are 1.7 kgs, and even when we were discharged we were 1.7 kgs. And you guys, when I tell you, when I go for clinic and I'm told my babies are this kgs, I'm like, diaper changes were dramatic. The diapers were so big, the legs were like this finger. You have to fold the diaper, and they were so tiny. But here we are, look at them, big mamas. I really thank God for my children, and I wanted to do this story because it was tough. That day was tough, but from there it was just the movements back and forth from the nursery to the, and it's tough because the first 5 days unatembea hivi, as in, and then you have to constantly go. At times you go, you check on your babies, you see they're okay, you go back to the ward, you go back to the ward to sleep. And then you see in the ward the other people who have their kids there, and the moment you hear children cry, you'll be like, oh my God, those are my babies again. You're on there. It's not an easy time, baby. It's not an easy time. Having your kids in the NBU and you are the other side, hey, it's not tough. But I really thank God that we managed. God gave me strength. And mostly those moving back and forth at night. Yani usiku wa manane, it's cold outside. You constantly have to go and check on the babies. But guys, we survived. That was my pregnancy and delivery story. They did well in the nursery. Like I said before, we saw many things in that NBU. And at some point we were like, God, please let us be discharged because it's too much. It's sad and it's painful, even seeing another mom go through pain, you know. Yeah, so guys, I'm sorry because failure. So guys, yeah, that's how things were. And by the way, guys, I didn't even stay in the hospital for so long. I stayed for like 5 days. And the doctor was like, you know what, the babies are doing fine, they are okay, you are okay, you can go home. And I was like, whew, that day I felt so nice because at this point I'm just like, oh my God, I need to be home. At least I need to be near my children at night during the day, because being in a ward, your kids are in the NBU at night, you can't just stay there. You have to constantly go. And you see there are 2 babies, you need to go change their diapers. Now milk has come, you have to go feed them because you want them to be the weight they are required so that they can leave the NBU. You want them to grow, you want them to be okay. As a mom, you have to push yourself. But I thank God because He has constantly given me the strength, the grace. He saved my babies. I really thank God. Like, hata vitu ziende vibaya aje, as long as I'm alive, my babies are alive, we're okay, I'm good. Like, I've seen how far we've come. And si kawaida, by the way, si kawaida. So yeah, guys, that was my twin pregnancy and delivery video. So we came home after 5 days, and from that now we started another journey sasa ya kulea from home. It was not as tough because I'm there with my babies. But yeah, that was it. And I'm really glad that it went well. And we came out strong. My babies survived. As in, my babies are a miracle. God saved them. And here we are growing pole pole too, but we are doing it. So thank you so much for watching. Oh my god, this video is so long, but you know what, I really want to document this, and I am glad I have been able to do it. So continue watching, guys. More videos coming. Thank you for your support. Continue subscribing. This baby here needs to sleep. So bye bye until the next video.